Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Marlin Bohling, your tour guide to the ag commodities. Well, here it is Monday. We're anxiously trying to figure out what the markets want to do this week. And to be real honest with you, they are not giving us much in the way of clues. Let's take a look at the corn market here first with our quotes provided by Bar Chart. On the big board, corn doesn't know which way it wants to go. It's been trading narrowly mixed here all morning. December, well, now it's a penny higher at 526 3/4. March just one lonely tick higher. Ooh, now it's 2 ticks higher at 534 3/4, while the May is down 1 tick. Okay, on the soybean trade, we currently have November down 1 3/4 cents at 12.16 per bushel. Right in the middle of our trading range. January down 2 now at 12.24 1/4. Well, moving on to the wheat in Chicago, you have the December contract 3/4 cent lower at 733 1/4, but it is off of its overnight low and early morning low by about a nickel right now. In the Kansas City market, you have the hard red wheat showing December 1 3/4 higher now at 745 1/2. So it's come off of its earlier low as well. Still within about 4 cents of our high from last night. Spring wheat, Minneapolis wheat on December now 964 1/2, and that's down 4 1/4 cents. So we're just kind of all over the board here right now. The cotton market so far this morning, we have December new crop 56 points lower at 106.77. It had been trading higher overnight. Well, we are joined by Chris Swift of Swift Trading in Nashville, in-house, in studio today. Always a pleasure to have Chris come in. Thank you. Good morning. Yes, sir. So the markets are just kind of dead in the water today.
Yeah, they're pretty quiet.
What's it going to take to wake them up?
Probably South America, rain or lack of, will do a lot to the markets now. With our harvest pretty much over 50% done, about all we can look for is what the new crop is coming out of the ground in South America.
Okay, I wanted to take a look at the new crop corn and the red December corn. Mm-hmm. In other words, the December of 22 corn. So here's this year's December. 1 1/4 higher at 527. If you go out to next year, the December of 2022, it's at 523 3/4. They're almost identical here, Chris.
They are.
Is that a decent marketing opportunity for next year, or does that cause people a lot of concern when they know the inputs are definitely going higher?
Well, I have to believe that we're going to keep that premium going forward simply because what we have seen is fertilizer prices have gone up dramatically. Mm-hmm. We know that next year's drought could be even worse than what this year's was. It could encroach another 400 or 500 miles to the east and begin to really severely impact Iowa and into Illinois. So we have to get rid of the drought, the first thing we do. Second, we've got to get fertilizer prices down. And a lot of that kind of hinges on the corn market. If we do see those factors still there, you might see more beans, cotton, or other plants, alternative planted besides that corn there.
So let's do the same thing on soybeans. Let's take a look at our November new crop for this year. And here we are at 12.17 1/4. So that's down 1/2 cent. Let's look at next year, November. Instead of 12.17, it's at 12.19. It's actually a 2 cent premium if you go a year out. But they're really even here. Is there any rush to market soybeans right now?
Probably not, because the bean oil market has been so good. The edible oils have had an increase in demand, and something that we learned is where a restaurant might use that oil over and over for several different cookings, the housewife will use it one time and throw it away. So we've seen a tremendous amount of increase in edible oils out there, and we know that we've got a shortage of palm oil. So in all honesty, with that kind of demand and no aspect for a break in that demand, I have to believe that those premiums are well justified right now.
All right, we'll come back in a moment and take a look at our livestock trade as we open up the week. We're talking with Chris Swift. We'll be right back. Now let's dive into our livestock trade, and we'll see if it's hanging on to losses that we had earlier or if it has come back. Well, live cattle currently show December at 130.17. That would be down 80 cents from where we closed on Friday. And the February contract down 67 at 134.67. So general weakness all across the board now in the live cattle. Now with our quotes provided by Bar Chart, we show feeder cattle all the contracts over $1 weaker now. We have November down $1.37 at 160.05 and January down $1.40 at 160.12. How about lean hogs? Can they break the trend? No, they cannot. We have the December down 77 at 77.50 and February down 77 as well. It's at 80.55. So general bearishness the entire ag complex, basically, here. Chris, what do you make of this action here in cattle? What's going to drive that?
You know, really, there's not much that can drive it right now. We've got fixed packing capacity. We don't see that changing anytime soon. We got adequate numbers on hand to fill the kill slots, and we've got a big increase in the cow kill. So we've seen that cow kill rally significantly over the last several weeks, and it just makes it very difficult to be able to change a status quo system unless you've got something that's actually going to change it.
If we look at the beef cutout values and the pork cutout values that were posted on Friday afternoon, according to USDA, there was a lot of weakness in the wholesale trade here as well. Now, on the beef, they pretty much held their own. They were down less than a dime on both the choice and selects. But if you look at the pork side, the wholesale pork market really had some sizable declines Friday. Carcass values down $4.74. Loins down over $6, ham's down $7.52. By the way, that ham market has had some huge moves in the last week or so for some reason. Maybe you can explain that. The belly market down $4.85, but still over $200. So what is it that makes this wholesale pork trade jump around so much lately?
I think retail prices. I think every time the grocery stores goes and lists retail prices, it has a shock factor to the wholesale markets.
All right, so looking at, if we can bring that pork trade back up again, the wholesale pork market, on the cutouts, it looks like we had the hams at $62.34, and after some wild gyrations last week, a week ago, they were at $68.46, so they are about $6 under what they were then. On the carcass values at 101, they had been 108.01, so they have been down about $7 over the past week. All right, well, Chris, thanks for joining us. Glad to have you come in.
Absolutely, glad
Look
to be here.
to next time, too, so stop by anytime. Chris Swift, Swift Trading here in Nashville. Tammy, I'll turn it back to you.